camino. Imagination. Love is my legacy, love is my money, 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 I'm strong, in the spirit of the love of God, I'm strong, yes I'm strong. I'm strong, in the spirit of the love of God, I'm strong, I'm strong. I'm strong in the spirit of the love of God. I'm strong, I'm strong. I'm strong in the spirit of the love of God. Love is my legacy, love is my money, 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 Keep trying, keep trying, let your eyes see, and try to do it now. Here we go now. Really, really, really. Put me on the rhythm. Give me on the rhythm. Really, really.
How you doing, Miss Boxley? Thank you for entering. How you doing today? We're gonna start real soon. I'm just queuing everything up. Thank you for joining me. Happy holidays to you too. Tonight's show is called. Excuse me for my voice too. I got a little sick, a little under the weather, but I'm doing way better. Tonight's show is embracing stillness and aligning with your inner freedom. Embracing stillness. You're doing well, good. I talked to Mr. Floyd, by the way, I got to visit him.
I'm strong in the street of the love of God. I'm strong. Yes, I'm strong.
Yes.
I'm strong
I got to visit
in the spirit of the
when I
love
was
of
back
God.
home
I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm strong in the spirit of the love of
glad
God.
you're doing wonderful.
I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm strong in the spirit of the love of God. Love is my legacy. Love is my money. Love is my legacy. Love is my money. Love is my legacy, love is my money, Love is my legacy, love is my money, Love is my legacy, love is my money, Love is my legacy, love is my money,
That's your name.
Love is my legacy, love is my money,
What's up, AJ? How you doing?
Love is my legacy, love is my money,
Awesome. I'm glad y'all staying connected.
Let your eyes see, and try to do this now. Here we go now. Really, really, really. Put me on the rhythm. Give me on the rhythm. Really, really. Camino. Imagination. Love is my legacy, love is my money, 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 I'm strong In the spirit of the love of God, I'm strong. Yes, I'm strong. I'm strong. In the spirit of the love of God, I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm strong. In the spirit of the love of God, I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm strong. In the spirit of the love of God. I'm strong. Love is my legacy. Love is my money. Love is my legacy. Love is my money. Love is my legacy, 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 love is my money.
Something cold.
Here we go.
There's All right. Thank you for joining, everybody. I'm your girl Egyptian Love. Many of you know me as Arlisha, but I'm your girl Egyptian Love. Thank you for joining Align and Ignite tonight, where everything we try to vibrate on the same level, the same frequency. Tonight we will be talking about the art of letting go and aligning with your inner freedom. That is a nice topic. And just let that topic sit with you for a minute. I'm sorry. That was last week. Let me switch that. We talked about that last week. That was last week's episode. The art of letting go and uniting and aligning with your inner freedom. Tonight is embracing stillness. Scratch that. Embracing stillness and aligning with the present moment. So the embracing stillness part, let that sit with you. Let the quiet so that I can realign, because I've been doing so many things just now, just trying to make sure everything is queued up and just get back on the one accord that I need to be on so we can all be on the same frequency here. So again, I am Egyptian Love, and this is Align and Ignite, what I like to call the mental palace, a place where we can declutter, a place where we can rewire the trauma and detach from all the drama. Excuse my voice. I'm overcoming the common cold, not COVID, overcoming the common cold. A place where we can come together and hear some biblical scriptures, hear some African proverbs, and hear some stoic wisdom all in one melting pot. Because I feel that some things said, depending on how it's said, regardless of where it's from per se, but how it's said, it will resonate so vibrantly on someone else's spirit that it will lead you to start looking into the things that you didn't once look into. So if you're a person that never even thought to look up African principles, or a person that don't really get into the Bible, or a person that doesn't get into Stoic wisdom, I may say something that makes you let me go look that up. And the next thing you know, you might be flipping them pages through the Bible, or you might be scrolling through some Stoic wisdom, or you might remember a book that your grandmother left behind and you go find that book and flip through the pages finally. I know that's happened for me. My mom has had books laying all around the house for years, and I've seen them. And until I was ready to harness particular information and energy, then that book was revealed to me. It was like it was there, and I've always seen it. It was like a part of the family. But when I was like, hey, this looks really interesting to me, and I opened it up, it resonated with everything that I was interested in now in that particular season. So this is why I come with biblical scriptures. This is why I come with African proverbs. This is why I come with Stoic wisdom, because I want it to be in alignment with wherever you are, just like Jesus would go wherever a person was. Never, never ever looking down on anybody, saying that you're not good enough. There was a time where that happened, but that you're not good enough for me to speak to. And it wasn't Jesus per se, but the people that Jesus, that believed in Jesus. Like, it was almost like, we don't want to share you. But Jesus is like, I'm going to go wherever I need to go to speak to my people, to speak to my brothers and sisters. So that's how, and that's why I consider myself your goddess girlfriend, your goddess, your goddess sister, your cousin, your auntie, and of course, mother of purpose. So again, tonight's topic is embracing stillness and aligning with the present moment. Embracing stillness and aligning with the present moment. And again, forgive my voice. It's going to be a little ride for me. I feel 1,000 times better than I sound, though. And that's true. 1,000 times. Let me pull up my first point tonight. So vibration to all, high vibrations, high vibrations. Thank you. Let me say thank you to a few people that have entered into the chat. Is the IG working okay on your end, Star? Is the IG, were you able to go into IG? Is it going in and out? If you're not, can you check it for me? Check the IG for me. Thank you, ma'am. All right. I'm sorry about the dead air here. So high vibration to all my legacy lovers. And if you didn't know, you all are my sisters and brothers. I am your goddess girlfriend, your sister, your auntie, your cousin, and yes, mother of purpose. And like I said, tonight we are embracing stillness and aligning with the present moment. Here we clean up the clutter, rewire the trauma, and detach from all that drama. Tonight we are diving deep into this topic. This is more than just a discussion. It's an invitation to reconnect to yourself. So quiet the noise around you and stand firm in your divine purpose tonight, because I want to make sure that we come together to align and ignite. Okay, so jumping right in. Be still and know that I am God. Psalms 46:10, right? Be still and know that I am God. That scripture right there, for my Christians, for my believers, that resonates on our hearts, vibrantly, because we understand that we're not always in control. And honestly, when you know that you're not always in control, it takes some of the pressure off you. It's like, okay, give me the baton, just like in a race. In a relay, it's now you're going, and then once you get to your stop, you can pass that thing on to the next person. And I use that, why I use that, because that has been my life. I've always been a runner, so you probably hear a lot of running examples, because life is a race. Life is literally one of those things where you start out, it might be a pop, and then you steadily get faster and faster and faster until you get to the finish line. And I really want to say that sometimes, even in a race, you got to be still. Even in a storm, sometimes you don't know what to do. And I speak a lot about that. I speak a lot about the storm and how you have to dance in the storm, because a lot of times you can't control anything that's happening. And I relate, and I like this. I relate. I remember while I was pregnant, I was asking people, like, how do contractions feel? I wanted to know so bad. What does a contraction feel like? What does it feel like? What can you explain it to me? And nobody could really explain it. My mom was like, it's just gonna feel like a big old piece of what that need to come out, right? A big old push, right? But in my mind, I was like, I need to know, like, not being able to be still in this moment to understand, but I decided in that moment that I would become an example for whoever was to ask me when that time came. So when that time came, there was nothing I can do but go through that storm, go through that pain, go through every precipice, because each part was like a cliff. You fall off and then you somehow you bounce back up like a yo-yo, and it's time to do another contraction. And I use that example in humor because there's nothing like it. And I say this, I want to use this as an example because while I was in, the storm of a contraction, I was thinking up to myself, what does this really feel like? How, if when someone comes up to me and asks me, so how did it feel? Because most women who don't have children want to know that. How does it feel to have a contraction? And the best way that I will always describe it is a storm that you cannot control. So if you are a person that likes to be in control of everything in your life, and when there we are women, we want to control, and it's a healthy, there's a healthy magnitude of it and there's an unhealthy magnitude of it. But those things that deal with our bodies, that's another topic for another day, where I might go with that, with the whole political and women not being able to abort and all that type of stuff, if they desire so, because this is their bodies. But going back to the explanation of stillness and not being able to control, my example is, it's a storm that no matter what you do, what you say, it's coming. And you got to go through it. And not only do you got to go through it, you got to figure out how are you going to endure each one. That's just like when people live in Florida and all these states that have those big storms. They prepare. They literally board up the windows every time. You think to yourself, why don't these people just move? Why they don't just go to another state that don't rain like this? And they got to start all over. And it reminds me of the spider. The spider, you knock their spider web down, they just do it again. That's how they do it. And shout outs to y'all. I ain't mad at y'all. Y'all are resilient. But it makes me think of, a storm. And you might as well just figure out what are the tools. And I love this is another example I always use. What are the tools in your toolbox that you're going to use when it's time to push that baby out? Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. What are the tools you're going to use? And 9 times out of 10, the most important tool is your mind. And you need to add all the equipment necessary in that toolbox of the mind, so that when those contractions start to come, you will know which tool to use. Okay? Hold on one second. Let me reorganize myself. You will know which tool to use. So in the storm of stillness, because it's going to happen that way, in the storm of stillness, what can you do to make sure that, since you know you have to go through, how would you get through and still be the best you in the end? And embracing that stillness, because you have to, you have to. In most scenarios, you have to calm the clutter of the mind. You have to figure out what breathing techniques can you implement into your life. What environmental changes can you quickly implement into your life, and use those tools. Now, this is controversial, but I'm going to throw it out there. Just like my podcast is about bringing together the many mindsets, mind frames, where people are, so that it resonates and it aligns, so that you can ignite in such a magnitude that you're no longer being judgmental. Christians are can be very judgmental. And I say that respectfully only because if you don't respect what someone else believes in and where they are, that's making it much harder for God to even get to those people. Now, you have a lot of Christians that understand that concept. I'm not saying that you put away your Christian values, but I'm saying to be a listener, like God says. You listen and then you speak. You wait, slow to listen. So let me make sure I can connect my dots here. So the controversial point is crystals. Some people use crystals. Some people use breathing techniques. Some people use candles. Now, some people use the Bible. Some people use the cross and they hold it while they're praying. Um, um, and I forgot the name of it. You guys, the beads. Some people use the beads. All of these different tangible items. Now, as we know, these items are items, right? And items that don't necessarily possess a particular magnified power, but it's a reminder of what the power is in you. And it makes you, and if you don't resonate, totally fine. But this is where if you're listening to this, it's a reason that we all come together, because there's a topic that's literally laying dormant inside of your spirit and somebody needs to confront with it. So you use these tools, you use these things as a reminder of where you want to go and what you want to do in your life. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that these things, again, have this magical power. I'm not saying that. But you are the magical power within these things. God is the power. The crystals are that tangible, that element that God has created and placed here on this earth. And people that believe in African spirituality, they honor what God has created. So I know some people like, what is this crystal thing? What is this? Why do Christians do the beads and pray on each bead? Well, that's Catholics, but still related. Those are in relation. We're all asking these questions, but the fact of the matter is we need to respect what's going on. Thank you for joining. We need to respect how people are in communication with God, the God on the outside and the God on the inside, because some people don't believe that there is a supernatural working, and that's on you. But I'm gonna say I know what I believe, and I know that God is real. However, getting back to making sure that I want to resonate with people that understand that it's not just my way. It's let's talk about it so that it can resonate, so that it can stimulate the conversation. Okay, that was very wordy because I am. But the crystals and, like I said, the crucifix, the ankh, all of these things that are in relationship to culture and religion and spirituality, these are the things that people are using to harness their spiritual belief, their spiritual realities, and stepping from the flesh into the spirit when they go and start praying. So I'm relating all of this again with my explanation from the beginning was being still, being still in the storm, embracing stillness. And I wanted to relate that with me explaining what childbirth is. Like, it's you honoring my explanation and then possibly saying, you know what? She said, find some tools. So you can go literally, hey, this is a feather. And when that contraction comes, I'm going to think that this next contraction is light as a feather. It's light as a feather. These are the things that you have to condition your mind. This is what I mean by tools. This is the main tool. This is the toolbox. When I talk about the toolbox, it's the toolbox of the mind and all the lessons that you collect along your journey of living, that you're deciding which one of those tools in your toolbox you're going to use for whatever circumstance that you're confronting in your life presently. And then the main point of it is so that you can get to a point where you're speaking about it to the person that needs to hear it. Because the way I say it, it may not resonate with you. Well, you're not who I'm talking to. Period. But the way you might say it, it might resonate with another 100 people. So people are waiting to hear it your way. But this is my podcast, so I'm gonna say it my way. Okay, so that was long-winded, but stick with me, okay? So be still and know that I am God. Psalm 62, 1 and 2. Truly, my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from Him. Truly, He is my rock, my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken. Here we can see the stillness and act of faith. When we stop striving, we allow God's power we allow God's power to flow through us. When we stop striving. Now, this one's hard for me. Stop striving. When we stop striving, like that looks like to a lot of us being lazy, right? It's like, well, how do I just, not worry? How do I not move when I'm just constantly thinking? And the tool that I feel like I need to apply to my life would be to purposely go make my tea, purposely pull out my journal and purposely light a candle, and turn on some music, no lyrics, instrumental, even some classical, and then to start writing. Now, a lot of men don't do this, and I'm about to get at y'all for a second. Y'all need to stop acting like it's just a female thing. Because statistically, and I don't know what this is looking like, but I've always been told that statistically men die sooner because they don't express themselves. I don't know the numbers on that. But if that is true, if you went to the doctor and your doctor told you, okay, I'm not going to give you a medication, but I'm going to prescribe to you this journal and this pen. And I want you to go to the gym at least once a week. And when you start doing that, your blood pressure is going to lower. Your diabetes is going to start to shift. Like if I was the doctor, my last name is Doctor, so let's just pretend that I'm subscribing you these things. Men, you need to start to express yourself. And women, we need to continue to write down these thoughts because we are always thinking. We are always thinking. Do. And we can't help it. It's how God literally constructed us to be. And I almost feel like it's unfair because it's almost like if we were building a particular we're on a project, we are literally the instruction manual and the man is the hammer, and he's like, I don't even need the instructions. He's basically telling us to go away. I'm gonna figure this out on my own. I don't want you to read nothing else to me. Because that's how we are. We are women of just of words and literature and dialogue, and that's what we do. But men, that is what I want you to start doing. That's a part of being still and planning, because a woman wants a man that knows where he's going, and so that she'll know how to help. And then she'll go look up her own instructions in ways that it can be better, because she's going to amplify 400-fold what you've already developed. She's going to amplify it. Okay, so being still and knowing that God will allow things to unfold, and you don't necessarily have to strive all the time to figure things out. And this goes for me. I'm not talking to y'all. This podcast is all about me. How about that? It's just me. I'm the only person. And then the next quote that I would like to share tonight it's an African proverb. It says, the bird that flutters least soars the highest. The bird that flutters least soars the highest. I'm talking about slowness, at a pace. And at the next thing you know, that bird done soared higher and further away than his whole flock. And birds, most of the time, they stick together, but they on a rhythm. So the ones that's going fast, they probably find at a really low pace because they're exerting much more energy. And that's why. But the ones that's going real slow, real cool, they just breezing in the wind. Okay? They end up flying real slow and until they soaring. And that's what that means. Embracing that stillness. And as you embrace stillness, the unfolding happens. The things that you did not see because you're at a higher height than you were when you were going 100 miles an hour, because now you're aligning and now you're igniting and now you can see clearly above the clouds. At first you were below them or in them, but now you can see at a much higher frequency, and now you can come up with the ideas and the structure to that plan or that business or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Now you can see it much more vibrantly from above. And it's above all those that, this goes for people too, above all those that feel like, no, you can't do that. Those people. Now, a Stoic philosophy that I wanted to include on top of the biblical philosophy, the biblical scripture and philosophy, because philosophy is it's literature, it's words, it's principles, intellect, okay? It's knowledge. It's food for the brain. But the first one was biblical, which was be still and know that I am God. Psalms 46:10. The African proverb was the bird that flutters the least soars the highest. And the Stoic philosophy that I wanted to share is by Marcus Aurelius. The man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties by and about those real problems. I said this on last week. Yeah, because we were dealing with aligning with your inner freedom and letting go. And this resonates again still, because we create these things in our mind of what is to come, biting the nails and just afraid of what is about to happen. And we make up in our mind what the end is, what the outcome is going to be, when once it gets to that point, it's not even that. That is not even what happened. Like, when I was pregnant, I didn't know, like I had prepared. I was like, I packed a whole suitcase. I was like, when I go into labor, I'm going to be, I'm going to put up my lights. I'm going to do some painting. Girl, bye. That was the least thing that was happening, right? I was like, I'm going to set the atmosphere, and I was imagining, yet it was positive imagination, but yet it was still kind of covered with some anxiety, that I was going to have like this blissful dance that I was going to be able to do while I was in pain. Baby, I couldn't even walk, okay? But I had imagined so many outcomes of what was going to happen. It wasn't even that. And that's the same example I use with when my dad passed. I imagined, like, what is death going to be like? What should I expect? What is happening to him? And I was about to hit Google with it. And God was like, no, don't you do that. Because that ain't going to be how it happened for him. So those are the two examples where I can truly relate to the imagined anxieties. And we're sitting back and we are biting our nails trying to figure out how, what, when, and why, when instead of striving, sit down and just be lazy in stillness for a while and let God do the work. Let the universe, let the universe shift for your good. Everything is working for your good. Everything is for you. Even when it's not the best outcome that you would want because it doesn't feel good. But it's interesting that those moments that don't feel good always seem to be the most blissful. Like, I'm just saying. Now, hopefully we got everybody in here that's over 18. But let's think about it. Even sex. Sex is to a point where, depending on who you are and what size you are, and this is getting a little raw, but we grown, you might not like it because you're not used to it. It might hurt. You know, it's a place where you have to just really get into the rhythm, the mindset, the motion, all of these things. And even that can be anxiety felt. Like, even if you've been a person that's been very active, but still you're in a place where you just are not. Give me the words to say. I want to say this how I'm thinking. Like my girl Shara Jakes, I'm trying to say this how I'm saying, how I'm thinking it. Coming into give it to me. Coming into understanding that you're developing. Let me just put it that way, because everything is not going to always hurt. But even if it does hurt, once again, the mind is going to be the one thing that you can go right back to and figure out, how do I go through this? Because I know I have to go through this so that I can get through it, because it's going to hurt no matter what. Like, you just have to know that pregnancy is going to hurt. When you are intimate with somebody and you have not been, you just have to know that it's going to hurt. But then there comes a beautiful thin line, or should I say a light at the tunnel, where there is bliss. The baby happens, the climax happens. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm trying to go with that. So even in the midst of all the anxieties, even in the midst of the pain, in the midst of the storm, there's always light at the tunnel. So we might as well understand that storms are going to always come. So we need to kind of just expect it, because life is not going to be easy. You know, it goes with the game of life. It goes with it. You know, that's why when people make movies, you know, you always have a beginning, middle, end, which is the introduction, the climax, and the outro of it all. You know, you're waiting. The buildup of life, that is life. That is why, you know, certain things that we listen to, we can relate to, and it reminds us so much of our life. So those are the three quotes that I wanted to start out with, because stillness in the midst of the storm, in the midst of the storm, be still. Because you can't go around it. You can't go around it. And this is how you align with the present moment, so that you can figure out, which tool should I be using right now? Which tool? So what does it mean to be still? It means to intentionally ground yourself. It means to intentionally listen to yourself and listen to the voice of God. Listen to that inner intuition, that inner knowing, that feeling. It means to quiet the noise around you. It means to, and let me repeat that. I need to. What is being still? It means to intentionally pause. It means to intentionally ground yourself and to listen to that inner voice, to intentionally listen to the voice of God that resonates on your spirit, that intuition that's literally screaming to you, don't do it, or go for it. And it's so faint, and so many of us don't listen. So many of us don't hear it. And I got to repeat that one more time, y'all. What does it mean to embrace stillness? It means to intentionally pause. It means to ground yourself. It means to listen to that inner spirit. Listen to the voice of God within you, so that you can know what you want to do, what you need to do, and quieting all the noise around you. Listen intentionally. I'm repeating myself because it's necessary. Listen intentionally. Ground yourself. Literally, purposely go sit alone. Just like I did before my show. Sit alone and figure out, what is stillness really? How important is it for me to get my message out? And what does God and what do I, how do we come together to make sure that I'm relaying a message that's for you and me? Sorry about the silence here. I'm triple doing things over here. So again, those three stoic, I'm sorry, not three stoic principles, but those three topics, three examples, not topics, three examples that we use. We use biblical examples for those that's just joining. We used African proverb and we use stoic knowledge about embracing stillness. God says, be still and know that I am God. Psalms 46:10. The African proverb, the bird that flutters the least soars the highest. And the stoic principle by Marcus Aurelius, the man is not worried about real problems so much as he is worried about the anxieties about the real problems and embracing that stillness on purpose. Psalm 62, 1 and 2, we are reminded, truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from him. Truly, he is my rock, my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken. Here we can see the stillness is an act of faith. And when we stop striving, we allow God's power to flow through us. I like that. When we stop trying so hard. And I've already mentioned that, but I'm repeating it because I want people to really get it. I want you to understand that everything takes practice. And the only way to really remember something is to do it repetitively, religiously, but until it becomes a part of you. So I'm just saying, do you brush your teeth once a year? Or do you do it twice a day or once a day? Like, because you want to have a nice, healthy smile, because your teeth is very important to your entire body's hygiene. So the relationships that we build, with people, the relationships that we build with ourselves, we want to have consistency even in our own hygiene, even in building those relationships. The hygiene, how is the hygiene of your relationship? What is the hygiene like? You wash your body every day. Do you pray every day? Do you journal every day? Do you say, I love you every day? I don't. I need to work on it. Do you give a hug? Because hugs can be healing. Do you do that every day? Do you encourage somebody every day? Because that's also healing to the soul. That's also honey from the tongue and it makes someone else feel so much sweeter on the inside. And then the next thing you know, they're sweet to the next person because of one thing that you just said. So when someone says something to you, digest that and be quiet for a moment in stillness, whether good or bad. Whether good or bad. I like it. Thank you for joining, Antoinette Patterson. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining Nunu, God's Child. Thank you for coming in, Stephanie, Honey. And I do not want to say your name wrong. Thank you, Rodrigo and Okiwal. I'm going to just say AO because those are your initials. AO, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. So, Jesus molded stillness perfectly. Jesus molded stillness perfectly. Mark 1:35 says, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left out of the house, went off to a solitude place, and prayed. Let me tell you, I did that before this show. I do that in my secret place because I feel like it's very important to silence everything around me. That's why 9 times out of 10 I'm probably up at night doing some type of craft or something, because that's my way of prayer. I don't just go and like, oh Lord, are there? No, I might be making something. I might be sewing or knitting, or I might be cleaning. That's my time of prayer. Because prayer isn't passive. Prayer is an action. It's an action. It's a verb. So embracing, and I love the word embracing. That's the word of the night, okay? Because we are embracing stillness. So if you hear me say it a lot, like, why should you keep using it? Because we're embracing. We're embracing it. Oh, it's fail. It failed. Why did it fail? It's okay. Okay, so um, even the Son of God understood the necessity of solitude. He withdrew from the crowd to reconnect to his Father in response. An African proverb. Okay, I get excited because we are multi-layered beings. Okay, so I get excited. I get excited when I am about to share an African proverb along with the biblical concept, and not concept, but the biblical um, scripture, because I want people to know that it's important to be, and it is okay to hear information that resonates with you, that's still in alignment with God, but just said a little different. Because sometimes, we know that the Bible has been messed with, unfortunately, but we get in such an uproar about, no, it hasn't, and yes, but listen, that don't even matter. Is it making you better? That's what matters. So the African proverb to being still, the biblical sense, is patience is the key which solves all problems. Stillness teaches to be patient. It opens doors to understanding. That is Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosophy of it. Let me say that again because I probably mixed you up. So the African proverb is patience is the key which solves all problems. Patience is the key which solves all problems. Patience is the key which solves all problems. Stillness teaches patience, and patience opens the doors to understanding. A Stoic philosophy also says that you have power over your mind, not outside events. This speaks to the power of inner stillness amidst external chaos. That's the Stoic principles. Once again, using the tools in your toolbox. The power is all in your mind. That's why your mind is the toolbox of life. And whichever tool that you've learned along the way, the lessons and the blessings, pick which tool to use and use it wisely. I'm sorry for so much quietness. This is because I'm doing everything at once. Now, practical stillness practices. Practical stillness practices. I like this. This is one that I do when I wake up sometimes, and that I'm going to be implementing, because I realize that sometimes anxiety can creep up on you. I used to think Black people didn't get anxiety. I know that sounds crazy, but I was like, that don't happen. Because God, Mama be like, just go pray about it. Like, ain't nothing wrong with you. But yeah, That like anxiety is a real thing. and and it's all because you're not getting enough oxygen. You're thinking. Heart race is literally speeding up, and you're not taking the time out to breathe like you're supposed to. You're just you're not being intentional in your breathing. You're not being intentional in the stillness of your breathing, and you're just expecting it to come. We just expect our next breath, right? How lucky, how blessed we are. We get to breathe every. So intentionally do that. When anxiety starts to happen, a friend of mine was having an anxiety attack on yesterday, and I was telling them to breathe, quiet your mind, stand up, open up your lungs, stretch out your arms, breathe in, and slowly breathe out. You have to take control. You have to take control of your mind. You have to take control of your breathing. Breathe in and breathe out, because anxiety is literally that bird that flutters real fast. That African proverb, the bird that flutters the least soars the highest. So if you're the bird that's fluttering way too fast, your heart is running way too fast, you're going to drop. So you have to slowly inhale for 4, hold it for 4, exhale for 6. And do that 4 times when you are in the midst of frustration. And once the oxygen starts to get back to the brain, because literally I learned that anger kills brain cells, but that's one way that you can rebuild your brain cells is how about giving it some oxygen? That's how we can rebuild brain cells. And then go do something that you enjoy doing. Oh, there we go. And that's what I'm saying that you should do. That's a really good thing to incorporate into your life. Um, create a sacred space. Oh, I love this one. Creating a sacred space is just as important. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to do that. Creating a sacred space is important because it's your own place. It's your own secret garden. It's your own secret little hideaway, your own little cave where you can put creative art on the wall and encouraging words and your own cute little book and your own coffee cup. And for guys, it could be your man space or your man spot, where you go and sit down in a chair and you put on some cool glasses and, you kind of block out everything. Listen, put some headphones on and just listen to affirmations, so that you can quiet yourself. That also helps with practicing stillness on purpose, intentionally. This doesn't have to be an elaborate space. It could just really be just you getting out of the bed and just quieting yourself, putting your hands on your knees, taking a few deep breaths for a few minutes, because I know life goes like this, but you have to find time to just stop before life stops you, because you're not stopping. I'm guilty of this too. We all are, because that's the matrix that we live in. We all are choosing to have these 9 to 5s, and we have to in some cases, but some of us are so just uptight because of it. You're in a place where you don't want to be, and you're not even breathing. Like, you breathe when you go home. You hold your breath the entire time. You hold your breath the entire time you're there. What's up, Dante? God bless. You hold your breath the entire time you're at work, but the only time you release the stress is when you're at home. And hopefully home is peaceful, because if home isn't peaceful, baby, how can you find any stillness? How can you get to a place where that elevation can take place? How will you even find a time to develop those crafts that you desire when you're not being intentional in grounding yourself so that you can start building yourself on a more consistent basis? So you're at a job where when it's time to go in there, you're uptight. Your anxiety felt. You're everything that we talked about earlier. You're creating all these anxieties about yourself. Or about the outcome. You're forgetting to breathe. So do those techniques, the breathing technique. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 6. Do that 4 times. Find a place where you create a space for yourself. Create a space for yourself. Create a space for yourself with encouraging words. Grab your journal, grab your pen, because this is my wand, honey. Put some headphones on. If you want music with words, music without words, but use the toolbox. This is your toolbox. And you got to be sure you know which tool to use in this toolbox for the lessons in life that you're facing, whether it be good or bad. Okay, so embracing that stillness so that you can align in the moment, because you want to be ready. It's no point of trying to get ready when a certain situation approaches. Be ready. And this is preparation, because you're now creating a religious process for your processing for yourself, you know? So that's another one. And I would say exercise. That is another place where you can come into so much peace. You can come into so much peace. Why did that fail? I don't know. You can come into so much peace because of all of the natural chemicals, right? That's released from the body that allows that stress to decrease. And you're now understanding and seeing your authentic self. How much more can you push yourself? How much longer can you run? How many more push-ups can you do? What is your level of fight? How much fight do you have in you? And once you've exerted yourself, you're going to be tired, and stillness is going to come. It's going to come because life gets so frustrating and so fast that you almost don't sleep until your body shuts itself down, and that's unfortunate. I don't know why that's happening. And again, excuse my voice. So that's another one. That was an add-on, because I thought of those two: the breathing, because I practiced that one, and the reflections, because I love to journalize. But exercise, that's literally, you're creating brain cells with that. You need that. You need that oxygen, and you need to exercise the heart. Mindful living tips. Start decluttering your home. I had to do that. When I got home, I was back on the East for about 4 months. When I got home, I cleaned out my entire apartment. I couldn't think straight. And then I was able to create my space to create. I was literally in the process of, like, you know what? If I'm going to make some things happen for me, everything around me has to change, like now. And when you don't have control over certain things in your life, like that you can't control, you just can't control it. You need to control what's around you and clean your house. That's too much dust on that furniture. Okay? Oh, your own ritual by choice or force. It's going to happen, right? It's going to either happen by force. It can happen by force, because me now being a new mom, there's certain things that I did not do before my son came here, before I portaled him here. There's certain things that I wouldn't do. So that was by choice. Certain habits I have now, is by force, which is helpful, because now I am aligning myself so that I can accomplish the things that, when I was not as accountable to myself, I can now be more accountable to my time and how I am sharing my time. So yes, the ritual is going to happen. And even when it comes to me having the time to pray, because if I start praying, then he gets, because I still breastfeed, he gets, not prayer's over. So finding that time, and it's not always the same time. So that's not the ritual of it. It's not necessarily the time when it comes to my prayer life. It's really, when do I get the stillness because of him being here? And he may not so much be on a perfect schedule because he's still really little. I haven't gotten that down pat yet. Still working on that. But yeah, by choice, definitely you can choose that. Like, let's create some routines right now. Let's create some religious routines so that we can get to a point where we're achieving the things that we desire. Absolutely. Okay, so here's my one. I get excited when I am going to share. I get excited about the biblical scriptures, but I get excited about the African and the Stoic principles too, because I love seeing things that say the same thing but written differently, because I love words, right? So let me share this. Okay, so there's an ethical story that I found that I thought was very relatable. There's an African tale of a wise village elder who was known for his ability to solve even the most complex problems. Villagers would often gather around him under the great baba tree, seeking his advice. But the elder rarely spoke immediately. Instead, he would sit quietly, sometimes for hours, before offering his thoughts. One day, a young villager asked him, "Why do you sit in silence when we come to you for the answers?" And the elder smiled. And the elder said, "So that you can find the answer yourself in the stillness of silence." Okay? I'm just saying. Okay. Now that was the awkward silence. Whatever, just, I love that, because I love sitting among my elders. And we have to take care of our elders. That's the whole point of having a holistic facility where I provide holistic living for our elders, so that, they're being treated respectfully to the utmost desire, where even if they weren't in their right mind, even if they're not in their right mind, treating them the same way they would want to be treated if they were, because they have so much knowledge. Oh, I'm sorry for the silence. Again, I'm doing 3 things at once. They have so much knowledge. Oh, and it's okay. But that's why we got to embrace them. Okay? Let's go here. So that was the story I wanted to share. Now, another story that I found to be very interesting that relates to our topic. I'm sorry for the stillness, guys. So another story. This is more like excuse me, a stoic not stoic principle. I'm sorry, a social lesson. In a small community, a leader faced a conflict among its members. Instead of rushing to resolve the issue, she called for a day of silence. For 24 hours, no one could speak. So instead, they reflected on their roles in the conflict. Some came and apologized. Some came up with solutions. The community healed without the leader having to say a word. Okay? This then was the outcome. The one person who listens is the person that leads. Stillness allows us to lead with wisdom, compassion, rather than impulse. So when you're getting cussed out by your baby mama, or you cussing out your baby mama, or your baby mama is or me as a baby mama, I'm cussing you out, type of thing. I need to learn how to be still. These topics I come up with is not me coming up with them because I feel like everybody else need the help. We all need it. We all need this help. We all need this help. We all need it. I'm putting on my country voice now. We all need this help, okay? Now, you're in the midst of cussing out your baby mama. Be still and know that I am God. Now, I'm not God, but God is God. Be still and know that all things are going to work together for your good. But no, I'm just being silly, but it's real. Oh, thank you. The stars in the building. I got some snacks. I got some snacks, y'all. Like I said, I'm a breastfeeding mama, so I need to be eating like 24 hours. 24 hours. But yes, that is two of my favorite stories that I've learned. I just learned those and I wanted to share those because they correlate with our topic tonight, aligning with the present moment. And even last week's topic was aligning with your inner freedom. That was the art of letting go, aligning with your inner freedom. And today is embracing stillness and aligning with the present moment. All of these things bring us to a full picture, a full circle of saying, sit down, quiet yourself, so that you can align where you need to be so that you can go to the next level. I've seen so many people be successful, and I always ask myself, what did they do before that happened? I always feel like there's a making before the breakthrough. I always feel like there's something that they were doing before now they're in the limelight. And that's one of my questions that I'm going to ask Oprah when I get to interview her one day and maybe make her cry, maybe. But in the limelight of it, her and Michelle Obama, Michelle O'Breezy, shout outs to y'all. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say. We need examples as Black women in this community. And as much as I'm going to say the they factor continues to try to debacle the representation, the good representation, we are all flawed. Some have flaws that we would consider just downright an injustice. Some are not so much, but the work that has been put in, what was their quieting moments, as Oprah would say, her aha moments, as Michelle Obama would say, the quiet before the light. Well, that is pretty much where I'm going with all of this. I am ecstatic for those that came in to listen. This is the 7th episode. I'm going to be going live tomorrow at 2:11 Mountain Standard Time because I'm here in Arizona. And that would be 4:11 East Coast Standard Time for all my East Coast people. And tomorrow we are going to be talking about the power of vision and manifesting your divine purpose. As you can see, each topic that I talk about is each one is an unfolding. The categories that I felt it takes to align and ignite and reveal your authentic self. I feel like we're like I said, we are multi-layered. We are multi-dimensional. We are multi-categorized. We have many categories. We have many categories of ourselves. And these portals open every 10 years or so, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, in knowledge, in understanding. And in that process, as these portals are opening, like as far as who we thought we were and then who we are, I posted a picture today, and go look at the picture on Facebook. It's of me when I was 21 versus me when I just turned 41. And I'm just like, man, the way I was thinking then versus the way I was thinking now. I've always been very analytical, but I have so much more knowledge now that it was time for me. It's okay for me to have a son now because I have something I can share, you know. Um, and even those people that had children at earlier ages, you may have been blessed enough to have elders around them that needed to get that information from them before they passed on and transitioned on. So that's why you had that child early, because there was something that that child needed from that particular elder in that time of your life. So you needed to have that child early so that they could get to that elder. There's so many reasons. Like, man, why did I have kids so early? Why did I make that decision? It ain't some. A lot of times it ain't got nothing to do with you. I mean, you made a decision, but then God aligns it, kind of like, let me fix this here, because I'm still, even in this decision that you made, I'm still here. I'm still in it. Let me fix this up. Let me repaint. Let me repaint this for you. You know, that's how I think about it. But I'm gonna say thank you. If my vibe resonates, let our spirits elevate. Please join me again on another episode of Align and Ignite. And also, don't forget to join me on tomorrow because I have a little surprise for you. I have a little surprise for those who come and join me tomorrow. And I'm hoping that you guys are celebrating Kwanzaa this year. I decided to celebrate Kwanzaa this year. Um, Today is cooperative, if I'm saying it right, cooperative economics. I was looking at some Kwanzaa videos on that. We should be celebrating this from now on and here on out. We got a whole new president, and we need to make sure that we're staying united, guys. Like I always say, that movie Wakanda, look Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, right? No, the movie Wakanda, that the spirit of Wakanda was the one time that Black people all around the world, we were resonating on a very high vibration after we saw that video. We were like, what? Man, where is Wakanda? I'm ready to move. Where do you need your passport to get there? Do you need your passport? But we need to continue to unite. It's getting real out here. And everything is being censored. You know, even Facebook, Instagram. If I talk about too many real things, they'll shut you down. Everything is being censored. And hey, how you doing? Everything is being censored to the magnitude that if you get too real, our connection will disappear. So we need to be able to connect in the spirit where we still understand what's going on in other places without necessarily knowing what's going on in other places, because we know that we are in alignment and we are igniting together because we're using our toolbox. We're choosing which tools to use so that we can overcome whatever is about to take place. I want y'all to stay connected with me in this 2025 year because this is the unfolding. This is the unfolding of Egyptian. Those that know me as Arlisha, you grew up with me, you know, so you know me by that name, Arlisha Doctor. Those who know me by Egyptian is actually, I got that name as a child, but I didn't embrace that name until I got to school, until I got to college. There's so many things that people assume, and it's okay. I love that because I have so much more that I can talk about now. Because the unfolding of me, the unfolding of Egyptian, the unfolding of what's happening in our society economically, socially, um, it gives us a lot more that we can talk about. And how am I contributing? What is my contribution? My contribution is my elders, man. You know, after being the caregiver of my dad, but even before him, my father used to always take me around older people. And like I said, depending on when you were born, it's very important to understand that you were born for a time and a place and a season. And depending on how you're infusing your child with certain information and surrounding them with certain elders, whether they be old, much older, or just, people that have actual information to share, really will determine the fabric of their character as they develop. And my dad took me around older people all the time. And I didn't think about that until after he passed. I didn't think about that. He's been gone now for a year. My best friend, period. Hands down. Nothing. Say nada to me. What? Say nada. But I saw how he was treated. And I'm flipping the script, but I'm relating it. I saw how he was treated in the nursing home. I saw how he was treated in the assisted living until I found one good assisted living facility around the corner from me that treated him the way I would treat him, which was with honor, respect, and dignity, regardless if you're losing your memory or not. I do this podcast to speak from a place of authenticity, but also just being able to be genuine and showing my heart as far as what is my contribution, my elders. Because I really care about them, because there's so many people that don't. And we live now in a society that got video games where you're killing and shooting on a video game. I now think that it's such a desensitization towards like the humanity, like the human being in general, because from you're detaching from people and spirit. So when you're not treating people with compassion, or you have compassion burnout, it's important to have a team of people that is helping you, not just because you're an elder, but because you just had a baby. You need a team. Even the men, you need a team. You need men that have children around you so that you'll understand what your woman going through, because the whole chemistry up here changes. Y'all always tell me she crazy. No, it's not that she crazy. Like, chemical imbalance is real. You look at a person in the street and you think to yourself, like, man, what happened to them? Chemical imbalances happen to women. And it takes quite some time for those balances to get back. But you're only as strong as the team around you. So if you don't have any support, I understand now with seeing my siblings who were single moms, and I saw the breakdown, but I didn't understand it. So I say, let's just pray. But I can see, if you don't feel like you have the support, how you could literally end up going to St. E's and end up having a mental breakdown. And this is the same thing with our elders, the mental breakdowns, because you don't have any support system, and you just get thrown in a nursing home because you can't talk to nobody because you're forgetting everything that's happening. So you can't even protect yourself. So that's my contribution. I want to be the voice for those that don't have a voice. I want to be a voice for those that don't know how to voice. I want to be the voice that, if you don't have the words, let me give you the words. Because if you don't have the words to say, you can't express yourself. Even if you have an emotion, but you don't know the verb, or you don't know the vocabulary is the word I want to say. You don't know the vocabulary to say, how you can't even express yourself. This is what's killing relationships too, between the man and the woman, because you don't have the vocabulary. And she's so wordy, she going 100 miles an hour, and you like, what that mean? So I can go on and on, but I'm gonna stop on and on and on and on. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there. But that's my contribution. Holistic care for our ancestors. Yeah, for them too. Don't forget your ancestors. Don't forget your ancestors, y'all. They are the reason you are here. God created us all. So why not honor them? We are honoring them right now because we are in day, what are we? Day 5? What's the day? 26, 27, 28, day 4 of Kwanzaa. Is it Jamoja? Oh, I'm saying it wrong. But like I said, it's cooperative economics. I'm saying I don't want to pronounce it wrong. I created a little Kanara candle for my son. I did it out of construction paper. It's really cute. Go to my page and look at that. But anyway, that's my ADD. I'm all over the place. But it's all for my good. It's all for the elevation of us all. So like I said, I went off. I just did a whole go off. I'm looking for something. I did a whole go off. Let me find you. Where are you? That's not it. Hold up. Stick with me. Stick with me. Oh, where are you? Where are you? Come back. Come back.
I don't know
No.
the name of the day.
Huh?
I don't know the name of the Kwanzaa day.
It's on the canard right there. Look at the canard. I put it on there. Ujama. That was the word. That was the word. Say it one more time. Ujama. Ujama. Cooperative economics. I put a video on my page too. While I was making my canard, and I hope I'm saying that right. While I was making the canard, today is the 4th day of Kwanzaa. Cooperative economics, I was watching a video, and to me that was my manifestation and my learning experience of what Kwanzaa really is. I've never celebrated Kwanzaa. My school, my parents, nobody ever really brought it to my attention. But again, that's the unfolding, that's the blossoming of me, and what I'm influenced by, what inspires me. And it's my biblical understanding, it's my African principles, it's my Stoic philosophy, it's all of that. I'm a Sagittarius, and you look me up, it's like we're into that type of stuff. And like, who, I really don't care if you don't care about zodiacs, but I do. And I don't believe all of the stuff matters, but I love the alignment with other people that understand it. So I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to those that understand. But yeah, while I was making my Kanara, it was like I was honoring my ancestors. That's how I felt. Like that was my moment of prayer. I was praying to God, but I was also thanking my ancestors for being here before me and going through the storm. Some of them went through the storm of stillness. They had quiet sit-ins. Some of them went through the storm of just, what's the right word? The storm. They went through the storm of the storm for us. And now we get to sit here and celebrate. And I'm truly, truly thankful. I'm thankful to God. I'm truly, truly, truly thankful. I'm truly thankful to God. I'm truly thankful to my ancestors. I'm truly thankful to my elders. I love to collect wisdom because I'm going to use that wisdom to share with those that's younger than I am, so that I have something to give back, because beauty fades, but knowledge continues to develop. Wisdom develops. She never dies. She evolves. Wisdom, I'm grateful, in total gratitude, to aligning with my elders and my ancestors and praying to God, because it's all just on this beautiful tree of life, and we keep trying to separate it. And it's not a separation. We're all literally the branch, and we all are leaves. And leaves fall when they need to, and then they grow back. That's the blossoming of it all, man. That's the blossoming of life. I keep going. I need to stop. Okay. I didn't find what I was looking for. Let me see. Mm-hmm. But I know that there are many of you out there that can relate to me and relate to what I'm saying. But I'm your girl, Egyptian Love. This is Love is My Legacy, the platform. Thank you for joining Align and Ignite, the Mental Palace. The Mental Palace, y'all. Thank you for joining tonight. I hope something resonates. I hope a seed was planted on fertile soil. I pray that you share this live. I'm going to post a few clips. Share one that resonates. Share the live. Leave a comment. Join me in my frequency, my mindset. If you resonate with wanting to make sure that we take care of our elders, that we honor our ancestors, that we praise God for giving us our second breath, our third breath, and our fourth breath. If you're in alignment with that, please make sure you follow me. Follow me on IG at EgyptianLove_, Align and A&D Ignite on TikTok. Love is my legacy. On YouTube, Love is my legacy. Right here on Facebook. If you want to follow this type of vibration, this type of frequency where you care about your ancestors, you care about your elders, you care about how people are treated that can't speak for themselves, please continue to share. Please continue to join me. Please come back to the mental house so that we can figure this thing out together and stick together. When I do this, you'll know I'm saying Wakanda forever. Eventually, y'all will know. And I won't even have to say it because I want us to unite without having to speak. We need to be on some I just look at you type stuff. And you know what I mean. And you know, black people, we got those. Mama said be quiet. All right. Talk to y'all later. Thank you for joining. Peace.